students. Today's lesson is going to be an introduction to graphing on a coordinate grid. If you learn best by drawing along with me, then please get your spiral and pencil. And if you learn best just by listening, then that is fine for this activity. So first I'm going to draw a coordinate grid, which is just one vertical line and one horizontal line. The cross section of these two perpendicular lines, they're 90-degree angles, is called the origin. And it's 0. The coordinates of the origin are 0, 0. So this point right here is 0. This horizontal line is called the x-axis. Say that in your house, x-axis. And the vertical line is the y-axis. Say y-axis. One way that you can remember which one is which is this vertical line kind of looks like an elongated Y. The letter is more vertical, if that helps you. So coordinate grids are numbered just like a number line, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it goes on forever. That's why it has an arrow. In the other direction, so this is 0, it's going to be negative numbers, just like a negative number line. -1, -2, -3, -4, and that line goes on forever in the negative direction. I'll put a positive over here. Same thing over here. So the vertical line going up, the y-axis, is positive. So I'm going to make some marks and put 1, 2, 3, 4. And going down on the y-axis, they are negative. -1, -2, -3, -4. I'll erase that. And it goes forever. Numbers getting smaller and smaller. Okay, another vocabulary term is a coordinate point. I'm going to make a point right here. So when you mark a point, they have coordinates that tell you exactly where they are graphed. This one that I just drew is a 3, 1. What does that mean? So I'm going to write down here the vocabulary word ordered pair. An ordered pair is when you have two numbers, usually inside a parentheses, that's a comma. The first number is the x, and the second number is the y. And that tells you where to go on the grid. The x moves left to right, it's horizontal. The y moves vertically. So let's take this one as the example. The 3 is the x. It's a positive 3. So that means I start at 0, I start at the origin, and I move 3 in the positive direction. So I'm right here. Then the second number is the y. I'm going to draw an arrow because I moved 3 positive to the right. The second one, the y, is also positive, so that means we're going to move up. If it was negative, we would move down. So that's why I went 1, 2, 3 over and up 1, and I put my point. Let's try another one. So this time I'll give you the point, and in your head or on your paper, try graphing it. So let's graph the point 2, 4. Okay, so 2 is our x. It's positive, so I'm going to go to the right from the origin 0. 1, 2. 4 is the y. It's also positive, so I'm going to go up 4. So let me go back to the 2 and now up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So right here is my second ordered pair. The last thing that I'm going to teach you in this lesson is the names of the different quadrants. So this quadrant where we've been doing most of our examples is called Quadrant 1, Q1. I'll write out the word quadrant. Quadrant. Quad means 4. So notice there's 4 corners. So Q1, quadrant 1, is always positive. Let me move this arrow so I can write something. So I'm going to write underneath Q1, I'm going to put a positive, positive. That means both numbers are always going to be positive if they land in this quadrant. We move counterclockwise, so the next quadrant is over here, and it's called Q2, Quadrant 2. Oops, sorry, you can't see. In this quadrant, the first number, the X, is going to be negative, so I'm going to write a negative sign. And the second number, the Y, is going to be positive because I'd move up. So if you ever see an ordered pair that is a negative number and then a positive number, it will fall in Quadrant 2. Moving down, this is, you guessed it, Quadrant 3. If I plot a point, like I'll plot one right here, this one lands at -3, -4. -3, -4. So notice both numbers are negative. We went down and down. So Quadrant 3 points, are going to both be negative. And finally, we have Quadrant 4. And to get to Quadrant 4, first you would move positive in the X direction and negative in the Y direction. So I'm putting a negative here. So let's recap what we just learned. This is a coordinate grid. The middle dot where they cross is the origin, which is 0, and that's where you start counting when you graph a point. Points are called ordered pairs because they have an order. You have to do the X first, which moves horizontally, and then you have to do the Y second, which moves vertically. There are 4 quadrants: Quadrant 1, Quadrant 2, Quadrant 3, and Quadrant 4. Quadrant 1 is all positive numbers. Quadrant 3 is all negative numbers. Quadrant 2 and 4 is one of each. For 2, first you go negative and then positive. And for Quadrant 4, first you go positive and then you go negative. So that was our introduction to coordinate grids, and now we'll be able to plot some points.